Welcome back to the deep dive. Our mission here, as always, is pretty straightforward. We take complex stuff,
Yeah.
advanced research, dense philosophy.
Well, and overwhelming stuff.
Exactly. And we try to boil it down into something concentrated, immediate knowledge, basically a shortcut so you can be genuinely well-informed without wading through it all yourself. Today, we're diving into something that's, well, it's demanding, probably our most demanding deep dive yet, but also, I think, fundamentally practical.
Absolutely.
We're digging into the source material from a really intensive retreat. The whole focus was on Drshya Viveka.
Which sounds technical, I know.
It does. But in simple terms, Drshya Viveka just means distinguishing the seer, that's the drik, from the seen the Drshya.
The observer from the observed.
Right. And this isn't just some abstract philosophical game. It's presented as the absolute core of Vedanta. It's meant to be a roadmap, a practical one, for understanding reality, yourself, and ultimately finding genuine freedom.
That's the promise.
So our job today is to distill these, frankly, quite technical concepts into insights you can actually use, like today, in the choices you make.
And it's important to set the context right away. This is advanced material. It's not Vedanta 101.
No kidding.
It works by actively challenging your deepest assumptions, the ones you probably don't even realize you have, about who you are, about how the universe works.
But it's not just based on blind faith, is it? That's key here.
Not at all. That's what makes Drshya Viveka so potent. It doesn't just assert things, it uses proof. Specifically, experiential proof.
Like what?
Like the dream state, something everyone experiences daily. The texts use your own dreams as undeniable evidence for the nature of the self.
Okay, interesting. Using dreams as proof.
Yeah. If we can really get our heads around that method, we basically unlock the whole approach to self-realization taught here. It's quite ingenious, actually.
Fantastic. Okay, no time to waste, Ben. Where do we begin? You said it gives a clear direction, narrowing the search for happiness, for reality.
Exactly. We have to know where to look.
All right. So the sources kick this off with a really nice parable. I think it's often linked to Swami Vivekananda, drawing from the Mundaka Upanishad.
That's the one. The
Right.
two birds on a tree.
Right. Two beings, like cousins, sitting on the same tree. One is Jiva, that's us, the individual soul, feeling limited. The other is Ishvara, the ultimate source, God, the whole thing. And Jiva, well, Jiva is complaining, constantly dissatisfied, says to Ishvara, look, we're supposed to be related cousins, but this setup is totally unfair.
That's classic complaint.
You got all the good stuff. You took all the Rupa, the forms. You got to be Rama, Krishna, all these amazing avatars that people see and worship. And what did I get? Nothing important.
Leftovers, basically,
Yeah.
in Jiva's view.
Exactly. But Ishvara's reply, this is where it gets really interesting, according to the source material. Ishvara suggests this weird division of assets.
A strange deal, yeah.
He says, okay, fine. You keep the Rupa, Jiva. Keep all the physical forms. I'll just keep the Nama, the names.
Which, on the surface, sounds like Jiva got completely ripped off.
Totally. Why would keeping just the name, just a sound, be equal to or even better than the actual form?
Because that seemingly unfair trade tells you everything about where the real lasting value is. Think about it. The rupa, the form. What's its nature?
It changes. It doesn't last.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's subject to time, decay, disappearance. Rama's body, Krishna's body, they passed away. But the nama, the name itself,
It's a concept, an idea.
it's an eternal concept that points directly to the essence. The source material really pushes us here. Don't just hear the sound, understand the meaning embedded in the name.
Okay, like the examples given. Rama.
Rama means one who brings joy just by thinking of him. It's not about the historical person anymore. It's an invocation of unconditional joy itself.
And Krishna.
From Arkasharti, that which attracts your own joy. It implies the joy is already yours, and the name just pulls it forward, attracts it from within you.
Ah, okay. So the names aren't about looking back at history, but looking inward right now.
Precisely. They're signposts pointing to your own inherent nature, your Ananda Swopa. Your true nature is bliss.
So chasing the Rupa, the external form, is chasing something fleeting.
Finite, yes. But understanding the Nama, the essence it points to, makes you realize the diamond, the real treasure of joy, it's already here, inside you, untouched, like the calm water deep in a lake.
The name gives the direction, even when the form is gone.
It directs you inward, to the infinite. That's the power Ishvara kept.
Okay, this leads directly to that core philosophical move you mentioned, narrowing the search. The sources say all experience, everything falls into just two baskets.
Only two categories possible.
Idam, pronounced idam, meaning this is the objective world out there, everything you can point to.
The entire perceived universe, yeah.
And ayam, pronounced aham, meaning I, the internal subjective sense of self.
That's it. Item and aim. Everything fits into one or the other.
So the fundamental question for anyone seeking truth or lasting happiness becomes, is Ishvara the ultimate reality, located in idam, the external world, or in ayam, the internal self?
And the method here is rigorous. It's philosophical elimination. First, define your terms. What must Ishvara be?
Okay, the sources say, constant, eternal, the ultimate reality, trustworthy, unchanging, the ground of being.
Right. The bedrock. Now, look at item, the external world. Does it meet any of those criteria?
Well, no. I mean, everything changes, right?
And not just superficially. The source material is emphatic here. It's not just that seasons change. The very Earth you're on is hurtling through space at unimaginable speeds.
Trillions of miles per second, the note said. Sounds unbelievable, but okay.
Your body is constantly regenerating and decaying. Cells dying, cells being born. The galaxy itself is shifting. The point is fundamental instability.
If the carpet could turn into liquid, was the phrase used.
Exactly. If the very foundation of the objective world is constant flux, then it fundamentally violates the definition of Ishvara. Ishvara must be constant. Item is defined by change.
And so, the conclusion is unavoidable. Ishvara cannot be out there.
Cannot be. Logically impossible based on the definition. The search in the external world is guaranteed to fail if you're looking for the ultimate unchanging source.
Which means there's only one place left to look.
It has to be internal. Ishvara must be hidden somewhere within aham, within the self.
That's the Niyatan concept from the Upanishads, hidden in the cave.
Hidden in the cave, yes. The folds of your own mind, your own intellect, it's already here, just obscured. This shift in direction is monumental. Stop searching out there. Start the real investigation in here.
The internal Viveka, discrimination.
So that's where the journey truly begins.
Okay, so the search moves inward, but then the source material throws us a curveball, right, with that Upanishadic verse.
Yes, the famous one. Nayam atma pravachanana mithayana bahuna shrutana lavya.
Which means the self, the Atman, you can't reach it just through listening to teaching.
Pravachan, yeah, discourses, lectures.
Or through sheer brain power, intellect.
Adhaya, intellect.
Or even through tons and tons of study, reading all the scriptures.
Bahuna shrutana, extensive hearing or learning.
So, wait a minute. Why spend all this time teaching, studying, using our intellect on these texts if the texts themselves say that's not enough? It feels like a contradiction.
It's a brilliant, provocative question embedded in the teaching itself. It forces you to ask, okay, if all this effort, listening, thinking, reading isn't the deciding factor, what is? What's missing?
Is this where the story of Narada comes in?
Exactly. The classic example, Narada knew everything, literally, all the Vedas, all the sciences, music, astronomy, everything. He had the meta, the intellect, and bahuna shrutana, the extensive learning.
But he wasn't free.
He goes to the sage, Sanat Kumara, totally miserable, weeping, saying, I know all this stuff, but I'm filled with sorrow. I'm not free. His knowledge hadn't liberated him. It just showed him the extent of his own bondage.
So what does Sanat Kumara tell him? What's the answer?
The answer is in the second line of that Upanishadic verse, which often gets less attention. It essentially says the self chooses the one it wishes to reveal itself to. But the implication, unpacked in the teachings, is that you have to make a genuine internal choice.
And that choice is munukshutva.
Munukshutva, the burning desire for liberation. It's not just a casual interest. It's a deep-seated, active choice for freedom above all else.
The notes mention Virgo Day. What's that about? Is that some astrological thing?
No, not astrological. It's a metaphor used in the retreat, likely referencing the idea of purity or singular focus associated with Virgo. It means you have to make that choice resonate in your heart. You have to truly prioritize the quest for the self, for Paramatma.
Prioritize it over what?
Over everything else that competes for ultimate value in your life. The analogy used is about relationships. You can't expect deep intimacy and commitment from your partner if you're constantly giving your primary energy and attention to, say, your friends, your hobbies, your work, above the relationship.
You can't have it both ways.
You can't. Munukshutva means you internally decide, this spiritual path, this knowledge, this is my #1 priority now. And importantly, that internal choice must show up in how you actually live your life. Your actions have to reflect it.
Okay, so it's not just a feeling, it's a practical restructuring. This brings us to the karma classifications, right? This is where it gets very down to earth.
Extremely practical. The philosophy has to translate into action. So you assess everything you do through these 4 categories.
First, nitya karma, daily duties like
eating, sleeping, hygiene, working to support yourself and your family, basic survival and responsibility stuff. The instruction, keep doing it.
Right, can't just drop everything. Second, naimitika karma, occasional obligations.
Things that come up due to specific circumstances. Visiting a sick friend, attending a required family event like a wedding or funeral, performing certain rituals maybe, things you've created an expectation for. The instruction, keep doing those too, generally.
Yeah.
You have responsibilities.
Okay. Third, nishida karma, prohibited actions.
Things explicitly forbidden. Lying, stealing, cheating, intentionally harming others. Obvious stuff. The instruction. Avoid rigorously. Stop immediately if you were doing them.
Makes sense. But the real juice, the area for change, is the fourth one, kamya karma.
Kamya karma, this is the game changer. These are actions driven purely by personal desire, for pleasure, for entertainment, for accumulation, that are fundamentally unnecessary for fulfilling your duties or for basic well-being.
Okay, examples. The source material used sports.
Yeah, that's a classic modern example.
Okay.
Let's say you spend, I don't know, 3 hours every Sunday glued to the 49ers game or the Giants or whatever your team is, plus maybe analysis shows during the week.
Guilty as charged sometimes.
Many are, but is watching that game necessary for your survival, for fulfilling your duties to your family or a job, for your essential peace?
Probably not. It's entertainment, desire-driven.
Exactly. That's kamya karma. Now, if you simultaneously say, I have munakshutva, I really want spiritual growth, but I have absolutely no time for study or meditation, yet you guard those 3 hours of football religiously,
then my claim of munakshutva is hollow.
it's inconsistent. The instruction isn't necessarily stop enjoying everything instantly. It's gradually and ruthlessly eliminate the unnecessary kamya karma. Use the time you free up specifically for your spiritual pursuit. Replace the football game with study time.
So you still fulfill nitya, go to work. You fulfill naimitika, go to your nephew's graduation party. But you cut the kamya, the optional desire stuff that eats up time and mental energy.
That's how you create the space. You carve out the time and mental bandwidth needed for this internal work. It's a conscious reallocation of your life energy based on your stated priority.
And this ties into something else the sources really hammer home. The need to give up the attachment of me and mine.
Ah, yes. This is crucial and often very difficult.
My house, my job, my reputation, my kids, my grandkids. All the things we naturally feel possessive about.
The clinging, the sense that my identity and my security are tied up in these external things or relationships. That attachment, the sources say, is the primary root of anxiety, fear, and bondage.
So what's the alternative? Not caring.
No, definitely not indifference. The guidance is subtle. Enjoy them fully. Engage with them. Love them. Care for them. But internally, shift your attitude.
How?
See them, treat them as belonging to Ishvara. They are Ishvara's children, Ishvara's property, temporarily in your care. Your role is stewardship, not ultimate ownership.
So if my daughter has a problem, I still help, obviously.
Of course. You act with love and responsibility. But the crushing anxiety, the feeling that her fate rests entirely on your shoulders, that obsessive worry that destroys your peace, that can diminish.
Because I trust Ishvara is also involved. It's not just my burden.
Exactly. It's a shift from anxious ownership to responsible, loving detachment rooted in trust. It frees you up internally.
This feels really different from how we usually think about responsibility and control, especially in the West. The notes link this to vairagya, recognizing the illusion of usefulness.
Yes, vairagya. It's often translated as dispassion or detachment, but it's deeper than that. It's seeing through a false premise. It's not apathy, it's clarity.
The parrot story illustrated this.
Beautifully. The parrot's in a cage. The door is actually open, but it won't fly out. Maybe it's comfortable, maybe it's scared. So what does it do? It plays dead. It falls to the bottom of the cage.
Why?
To trick the owner into thinking it's dead, so the owner will open the door and take it out, allowing it to escape. It strategically abandoned its living parrot in the cage identity to gain freedom.
Okay, so how does that apply to us and me and mine?
We cling to the idea that our current limited identity, the stressed parent, the indispensable employee, the pillar of the community, is absolutely essential. We think, my family needs me like this, my job needs me, society needs this role I play.
We feel indispensable.
We do. Vairagya is realizing that maybe, just maybe, that indispensable identity is actually the cage. The world, your family, might actually function perfectly fine, maybe even better, without the bound, anxious, limited version of you that you're currently embodying.
Like the robber example. Yeah. Realizing his family was better off without his support.
Right. It's a provocative idea. Freedom might involve recognizing the option to just let that limited role, that false sense of indispensability, fall down. Like the parrot.
Okay, so we've shifted the search inward.
Yeah.
And we've started clearing the decks by choosing freedom, munukshutva, and cutting unnecessary actions, kamya karma. Now, we need the tools, right? The actual viveka, the discrimination.
Exactly. Now we need to learn how to see properly, how to distinguish the real from the unreal within our own experience.
We're looking for the unchanging core, the satsvarupam, the diamond inside.
Yes. And the sources use analogies to help us grasp this. The electricity one is quite effective, I think.
Right. You have the electricity flowing through the wires. That's the constant unseen source.
Unchanging power.
Then you have the appliances plugged in, a fan, a heater, a light bulb, a TV. They all use the same electricity, but what they do, how they appear, is totally different.
Wildly different. The fan creates wind, the heater creates warmth, the TV shows images and sounds. The manifestations change constantly.
But the electricity itself remains just electricity, unchanged by whether it's powering a fan or a heater.
Precisely. Our experiences, thoughts, feelings, sensations, they're like the appliances, constantly changing, appearing different. The underlying reality, the self, is like the electricity, always present, never changing, enabling all the different functions. Our job is to identify with the electricity, not the appliance of the moment.
Okay. And this brings us to some specific terminology about reflections. The sources use bimba, abhasa, and pratibimba. We need to unpack these.
Yes, these are technical but crucial for understanding how the self appears to be the individual person. Bimba is the original. Think of it as the source object, the face looking into the mirror. In our context, the bimba is the true self, pure consciousness.
Got it. The original, then the reflections.
Abhasa. Abhasa is described as a shadow-like reflection. Think of light hitting a rough, uneven, non-mirror surface like a wall. You get a sense of light there, but it's distorted, fuzzy, indistinct, not a clear image.
So like a vague thought or a fleeting feeling, not well-defined.
Exactly. It represents a very low-level, disorganized reflection of consciousness.
Okay. And the other one, pratibimba.
Pratibimba is the mirror reflection. Think of looking into a clean, clear mirror. You see a sharp, distinct, coherent image that looks very much like the original bimba, your face.
Almost identical from the front.
Yes. This pratibimba is used to describe the reflection of pure consciousness, bimba, in the clear mirror of the refined intellect, the buddhi.
And this is the jiva, the individual self.
Often, yes. The jiva, the sense of I am this particular person, is understood as this clear, coherent pratibimba. It's so clear, so seemingly real, that it makes a fundamental mistake.
What mistake?
It identifies itself, the reflection, as the original bimba. It thinks, I am the source of awareness, I am the real thing, when it's actually just the image in the mirror of the mind.
Okay. The reflection forgets it's a reflection. And because it's pratibimba, a clear reflection, the illusion is incredibly convincing.
Extremely convincing. Much harder to see through than a fuzzy apasa. That's why this viveka is so subtle.
And seeing through this illusion is the journey through the stages of spiritual growth described, starting with the samsari.
Yes. The samsari is the person completely identified with the reflection and totally caught up in the world's apparent ups and downs. But here, we need that distinction between jagat and samsara again.
Right. Jagat is just the world appearing. Mountains, rivers, people, events.
Just the phenomenal world unfolding. Relatively neutral.
But samsara is our stuff projected onto the jagat.
Exactly. Our ideas, beliefs, fears, anxieties, judgments, hopes, dreams, all the mental static and emotional drama we superimpose onto the neutral screen of the world. Samsara is the mental suffering we create about the jagat.
So the samsari is lost in their own self-created samsara.
Completely consumed by it, reacting constantly to their own projections.
Then comes the second stage, vairagya. That's recognizing the illusion. Like the parrot realizing the cage door is open, or playing dead.
Yes, seeing through the false premises, starting to detach from the identification with the reflection and its dramas.
Which ideally leads to the third stage, sangata.
Asangata. Unaffectedness. Non-attachment. Like the mirror.
The mirror reflects everything happening in front of it. Chaos, beauty, noise, silence.
Everything. Traffic jams, arguments, peaceful landscapes.
But is the mirror itself ever changed? Stained? scratched by the reflections?
Never. The substance of the mirror remains untouched. It appears to contain all the activity, but the activity belongs to the reflection, not the mirror itself. That's asangata. Witnessing the play of life without being fundamentally disturbed by it.
Okay. To get there, we have to correct our false notions, our Brahmas. The classic example is the rope snake Brahma.
Right. You see a word in dim light, mistake it for a snake, you feel fear, then someone shines a light.
You see, it's just a rope.
And what happens to the snakeness?
It's gone. Vanishes completely. Instantly.
Correct. The false notion is totally and permanently eradicated by the correct knowledge. That's the rope snake type correction.
But the sources say there's another type of Brahma, another type of false notion, which is trickier. The blue sky type.
Yes, this is a really subtle and important point for Viveka. Think about looking at the clear blue sky.
Okay.
Your intellect knows, based on science, two things. One, the vastness of space itself isn't actually blue. Two, you can't go up there and, bottle the blueness. It's not a substance.
Right. It's an appearance caused by light scattering, atmosphere, stuff like that. It's not a thing.
Exactly. It's a visible phenomenon, but it doesn't exist as an independent object. Now, here's the crucial part. Even after you know intellectually that the sky isn't inherently blue, what happens when you look up?
It still looks blue.
It still appears blue. The phenomenon persists visually. But does your understanding change?
Yeah, I know it's not really blue, like, say, a blue car is blue. It's an appearance.
Correct. Your intellectual knowledge corrects the reality of the experience for you, even though the visual appearance remains. The jnani, the knower, sees the blue sky, but understands it as a persistent, visible, yet ultimately non-substantial illusion.
Okay. So how does this relate to the self and the world?
The appearance of the world, jagat, on the self, on pure consciousness, is said to be like the blueness appearing in the sky.
The self is the vast, clear space, nijaga, the intrinsic reality, and the world, with all its forms and colors and events, appears within it, like the blue.
Exactly. The variations, the experiences, the sense of being a separate person, these exist, they appear, but they exist at a different level of reality than the fundamental consciousness itself. Like the blueness exists at a different level than the space.
So correcting this, Brahma isn't about making the world disappear visually like the snake.
No, the world appearance continues.
It's about intellectually understanding that the appearance isn't the ultimate reality of the self, just like the blueness isn't the ultimate reality of the sky.
Precisely. Once you achieve that blue sky type of correction, the phenomena of the world no longer stick to you. They can't fundamentally disturb your sense of being the vast, unaffected space, the mirror. You reach asangata. The appearance continues, but the belief in its ultimate reality is broken.
All right, this is getting deep. Let's bring in some more concrete proofs of the sources use. The analogy of the movie theater experience seems quite powerful, especially for us today.
Yes, it's a very relatable, modern analogy for these ancient ideas. You go into a dark room, right? Huge scream, surround sound.
Total immersion.
And what happens? The story playing out on the screen, the narrative, the images, the sound, it engulfs you. It triggers real emotional reaction.
Oh, absolutely. You laugh, you cry, you jump in your seat, you feel tension, relief.
Yeah.
You get completely invested, even though you know it's just light on a screen.
Exactly. Now, the analysis in the source material breaks this down. For that entire compelling movie experience to happen, you need three essential components. And the punchline is, in the ultimate reality, the Paramatikasra, you are all three.
Okay, what are the three?
First, you need the fixed screen. What are its characteristics?
Well, it has to be stable, right? Unmoving. And white. Neutral. Colorless.
Perfect. Solid, unchanging, colorless. If the screen itself had pictures or colors, or if it was waving around, it would distort everything projected onto it. It has to be a neutral, stable background.
Right.
This, the texts say, is you. Your fundamental nature as Satsvarupa, pure, unchanging existence. It just is. Swayamsita, self-existing.
Okay. Component one, I am the screen. What's second?
Second, you need the steady light, the projector beam. What about it?
It needs to be bright, powerful, constant. If the light flickered, the image would flicker.
Right. Powerful, steady, unchanging light. And interestingly, when the movie is playing well, do you even notice the beam of light itself?
Not really. You're focused on the images it creates on the screen.
Exactly. The light enables the perception but remains itself unseen, taken for granted. This, the texts say, is also you. Your fundamental nature as chit, pure awareness, pure consciousness. And it's swayam prakasha, self-luminous. It doesn't need another light to be known. It is the knowing principle.
Okay, so I'm the screen existence and I'm the Awareness was the third element.
Third, you need the moving film script. The actual content, the story, the characters, the dialogue, the sound, the plot twists, the narrative that unfolds.
Which is what, in this analogy, my life experiences, my thoughts, my story.
The entire phenomenal world, including your personal biography, your thoughts, feelings, actions, that's the moving film being projected by the light awareness onto the screen existence.
Intellectually, I get the three parts: screen, light, film. But, okay, here's a practical bit again. I'm sitting in the movie theater of my life. The film shows something awful, a loss, a betrayal, a fire, whatever. I know I'm the screen and the light, theoretically, but I still feel the panic, the sadness. How does knowing I'm the screen actually stop the screen from feeling like it's on fire when the movie shows fire? How do I enforce that separation?
That is the crux of the practice, the challenge for the sadhaka, the seeker. The separation isn't enforced by trying to change the movie. You can't control the script of life, the prarabdha karma. The separation is enforced by constantly, consciously shifting your identification. When the film shows fire, you acknowledge the appearance. Fire is appearing on the screen. But you immediately reinforce the truth. The screen itself is not burning. I am the screen.
So it's an active mental assertion.
It's more than just assertion. It's a shift in the locus of reality. You withdraw the sense of reality from the changing film and place it firmly back onto the unchanging screen and light. The pain, the fear they register in the reflection, the movie, but the knowledge that you are the unaffected background fundamentally changes the nature of that experience. It takes the sting out, removes the ultimate terror because you are safe. The screen is never consumed by the fire in the movie.
Okay. It requires constant vigilance then, constant remembering.
Constant remembering, Viveka.
Yeah.
And this brings us to the proof the scriptures provide for this seemingly extraordinary claim, the proof that you are the creator of your own experience, the screen, the light, and the script.
The dream state.
The dream state. The sources are emphatic. The Shastra, the scriptures, don't just make claims, they provide proof you can verify yourself. And Ishvara, in this view, dedicates roughly a third of your life every night to demonstrating this principle.
How does the dream prove it?
Think about what happens when you dream. You create an entire world, don't you?
Yeah. People, places, situations.
You create light, heat, sound, complex narratives, intense emotions. While you are in the dream, does it feel unreal?
No, usually feels totally real, sometimes more real than waking life.
Exactly, completely convincing. You react, you feel, you experience, but then you wake up, and what's your immediate assessment of the entire dream world you just inhabited?
It wasn't real. It was just my mind. The projection.
Precisely. You instantly dismiss it as non-real, a figment of your own consciousness. Yet moments before, it was your total reality. This daily experience is the proof. It demonstrates unequivocally that you possess the capacity to be the sole creator of an entire experiential universe.
So in the dream, I am the producer.
You are the producer, the director, the screen, your mental space, the light, your awareness illuminating the dream, and the scriptwriter.
Where does the dream script come from?
From your own mind. Your memories, your desires, your fears, your subconscious impressions, including, the text suggests, impressions from previous lives, samskaras. You weave the narrative from your own internal content. There's no external agency needed to create your dream.
Wow. Okay, so the dream is like a nightly workshop, showing me I'm the source.
It's the microcosm of creation. And this capacity, the power to create, sustain, and dissolve an entire experiential world from within yourself, that is the definition of Brahman given in the Brahma Sutras.
Janmadhyasyata.
Janmadhyasyata. Brahman is defined as that single, ultimate entity from which everything is born, Janma, in which everything resides or stays, Adi can imply sustenance, and into which everything dissolves, Ashita implying dissolution.
And the dream shows me doing exactly that on a small scale every night. Creating, sustaining, dissolving.
Correct. The principle is identical. The scale is different. The challenge, again, isn't the lack of proof. It's the lack of recognition.
Like the Amazon analogy.
Right. A child might know the word Amazon. They can say it. But they have zero concept of the object, the vast rainforest, the global corporation, whatever the context. They don't grasp the reality the word points to.
So we know the word Brahman.
We chant it, we read about it, we discuss it, but we fail to connect the word to the object, which is our own self. Our own inherent capacity demonstrated nightly in dream. We fail to make the leap. Oh, I am that source. I am the screen. I am the light.
If I really knew I was the screen,
You'd know you were indestructible, untouched by the movie.
and if I really knew I was the light,
You'd know you were self-aware, self-luminous, eternal. That's the realization Drshya Viveka aims for, using the dream as the ever-present proof.
okay, this leads us to what the source material calls the final hurdle, the most subtle distinction, the one that trips up even people who've been studying this for a long time.
Yes, the Viveka between the true self, the bimba, the original light screen, and ahankara.
Now, ahankara, usually translated as ego.
It is, but ego in English often carries connotations of pride or arrogance. Here, ahankara is much more fundamental, more technical. It's the basic I-maker or I-doer, ahankaroti I do. It's the primal sense of being a separate, individual I that identifies with actions, thoughts, and experiences.
So it's not just vanity, it's the very feeling of being this specific person.
It's the fundamental I thought itself. I am John, I am Mary, I am thinking, I am walking. That core sense of individualized existence and agency. Now, this ahankara is not totally false. It's based on the real I, the light of consciousness.
But it's not the whole picture.
It's the limited, partial, identified version. It's the light of consciousness, chit, reflected in the mind, buddhi, and mistakenly taken as the original source. And crucially, this ahankara, this sense of me, is constantly changing.
How so?
Well, there's the I who is awake, the I who dreams, the I who is in deep sleep. There's the I who is a child, an adult, an old person, the I who is healthy, the I who is sick, the I who identifies as American, Indian, Republican, Democrat.
All different roles, different states?
It's all different temporary identifications assumed by this I-maker, the ahankara. The fundamental mistake, the core illusion, is taking this changing reflection, the chichaya, the reflected consciousness, to be the unchanging original, the bimba.
And that reflection, the ahankara, is vulnerable.
Absolutely. Because it's identified with the temporary, with the body, with the mind, with the role, it becomes subject to all the changes, pains, fears, and limitations of that temporary vehicle. It's distorted by the very medium it's reflected in, the mind and its conditionings. It gets caught in the web of karma.
So it's like when we enter this life, this current dream, we essentially take on the role, the avatara of this limited reflected I, the ahankara. We get attached to the costume, the body,
We shrink ourselves down, identify with this specific body-mind complex, and that makes us feel vulnerable, limited, and subject to the unfolding script of our past actions, our karma. We become puppets of the movie, believing we are the character on screen.
Whereas the goal, the state of the Mahatma, the realized soul, is
to withdraw that false claim of identity. They stop saying, I am the reflection. They know they are only what the reflection is of.
the original light, the screen.
Yes. So for them, the body-mind complex, the ahankara, continues to exist. It has its own momentum, its own prarabdha karma, the karma allocated to play out in this lifetime. The body might feel pain, the mind might have thoughts.
But it doesn't matter to them.
It doesn't fundamentally bind them or define them. They recognize the pain, the pleasure, the thoughts, the events are happening to the reflection, to the character in the movie, not to the essential reality, which is the screen light. The reflection plays out its part until a film reel runs out, but their identification is firmly established in the unchanging source.
Okay, intellectually I follow. But again, the practical application. Let's say I face a major problem, financial trouble, relationship breakdown, serious health issue. How do I use this distinction in that moment to actually reduce suffering? Just telling myself, this isn't the real me, might feel abstract, hollow.
It can feel abstract if it remains purely intellectual. The sources offer very practical guidance here, a kind of emergency shortcut for problem solving.
What is it?
When you're hit with a problem, when the anxiety or fear surges, pause. Close your eyes just for a moment and actively, deliberately recall the Vedantic truth you've learned.
Recall what specifically?
Recall this crisis, this pain, this fear. It is happening to the ahankara, the partial I, the reflection, the character in the movie. It is not happening to the real I, the unchanging awareness, the screen.
So consciously label the experience as a belonging to the reflection.
Yes. Acknowledge its appearance, but deny its ultimate reality as you. Remind yourself of the bigger picture, the unchanging background. And then there's the element of trust.
Trust in Ishvara. The sources mention Ishvara wants our happiness more than we do, like dropping a rope into a well.
Exactly. The analogy is, you've fallen into a dark well, bondage, suffering. Ishvara wants to pull you out and keeps lowering a rope, hints, teachings, opportunities for grace. Recognizing that the suffering belongs only to the partial hour is like grabbing hold of that rope.
How so?
Because if you believe the suffering is happening to the real, eternal you feel overwhelmed, hopeless. But if you accept, okay, this intense difficulty is part of the movie script for the Ahankara, the character I'm playing, then you realize the real you is safe, witnessing it. And you trust that Ishvara, the director of the movie, has a plan, a resolution built into the script, even if the character can't see it yet.
Accepting the hints, grabbing the rope.
It removes that sense of total personal responsibility and cosmic abandonment. You realize the problem isn't ultimately yours in the deepest sense. It belongs to the role, the script. This dramatically reduces the anxiety and opens you up to solutions or acceptance.
So the ultimate aim of all this Viveka is to reach a stable state. Brahmanista.
Brahmanista. A firm, steady obedience in the knowledge of Brahman, the reality of the self, where the distinction between the real I, screen light, and the partial I, Ahankara reflection, is consistently clear, regardless of what the movie is showing.
And what is the nature of the Dharma, of that true self, the Atman, when it's realized? What does it feel like?
The texts define its intrinsic nature, its Swarupa Dharma, as peace, Shanti, complete satisfaction, Tripti, fullness, Pranavim, a state of being whole, lacking nothing, and therefore having no driving desires, Akama. It's a silent, profound contentment.
That sounds very serene, almost quiet. What about joy, laughter, fun? Aren't those spiritual?
Good question. The source material distinguishes here. Laughter, exuberant joy, dancing, fun, these are seen as wonderful expressions, the dharma of the Dhahatma, the identification with the body-mind complex, the reflection. They are characteristics of the movie, the play of life.
So, enjoyable but transient, not the core nature of the ultimate self.
Exactly. They are beautiful ripples on the surface, activities of the reflection. The deep, unchanging nature of the self itself is that profound peace and fullness. Understanding this stops us from chasing fleeting pleasures, kamya, as a substitute for the real thing, the lasting peace that's already our nature.
So even if we're not fully in that Brahmanista state all the time,
which most seekers aren't initially,
getting even momentary glimpses of that inner peace, that detachment from the Ahankara's drama, is valuable.
Immensely valuable. Those glimpses are the proof. They remove the fundamental doubts. They show you the diamond is real. It's there, waiting for you to consistently shift your identification away from the reflections and towards the source. That, in essence, is the whole practice of Drshya Viveka.
Okay, wow. That's a lot to absorb, but incredibly powerful. Let's try to summarize the key takeaways for everyone listening. 3 major actionable insights from this deep dive into Drshya Viveka.
Go for it.
First, make that fundamental directional shift. Stop searching for ultimate reality or lasting happiness primarily in Edom, the external world. Recognize its inherent instability. Narrow your focus decisively to Aham, the internal self. That's where the treasure is hidden.
Crucial first step.
Second, embrace Munikshutva. Make a genuine, heartfelt choice for spiritual liberation as your highest priority, your Virgo day. Let that choice manifest practically by assessing your actions. Continue essential duties, nitya, naimittika. Avoid harm, nishita, but systematically, ruthlessly eliminate unnecessary desire-driven activities, kamya karma, to create the time and mental space needed for this inner work.
Action must follow intention.
And third, master the most subtle discrimination self versus ahankara. Learn to recognize the ahankara, the ego, the I thought, as the limited, changing, partial I, the reflection, chitchaya. Actively distinguish it from your true nature as the unchanging screen, sat, and the steady light. Remember that pain and pleasure belong to the reflection, the movie, not the real you.
That's the core Viveka. If you get that, you get everything.
Fantastic summary. Now, as always, we like to leave our listeners with a final provocative thought, something to chew on.
All right, how about this? Stop getting endlessly tangled up in the debates about the specifics of your karma. Stop agonizing over past lives, future lives, whether you're headed for Swarga or Naraka, heaven or hell. Why?
Why?
Because according to the deepest implication of these teachings, this entire phenomenal game, including the world you perceive, the laws of karma you experience, even your concept of Ishvara as a separate entity managing it all, is ultimately projected or created from within yourself. It's your own, at moshisht, your own manifestation.
The whole thing is my dream, essentially. On a cosmic scale.
In the highest truth, yes. So true freedom doesn't come from tweaking the karmic script, getting a slightly better role in the next life's movie, or negotiating with a perceived external creator.
Where does this come from, then?
It comes from waking up. It comes from dissolving the very notion of being the limited jiva, the character, the reflection altogether. When the reflection dissolves back into the source, the only reality left is the unchanging screen and the light. The only choice remaining then is simply to be what you already are. So
Yep.
Go ahead, be the screen.